For the cross video.
Sam had that.
That was thrown straight to him.
But he just say,
unable to bring that ball in.
he did say to me he likes to make a hit. He's not really concerned about the interceptions.
Well, you know, but I actually think Sam's eyes got too big. I think he saw the end zone before he got back to catch that ball.
Definitely an interesting throw there. And we see a timeout by Manchester.
There's no safeties in the middle of the field and the middle of the park at all. They're playing cover one.
They went cover one. They believed in their corner, so they went cover one. And
Play in the semi-final already.
100%. When I just saw that play, when I saw the shift in the motion, it just took me straight back to the finals last year. And you know, they got the first down then and they got the first down now.
good God, let's eat!
We're up North England, here in Manchester, with the Manchester Titans playing against the Bristol Aztecs. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We have Jonathan Homer with us today, this morning, the head coach.
How's it going?
All good in the hood.
Look, you got upped your games for the playoffs, haven't you?
Oh, listen, man, that's what we've got to do.
Big setup here.
We've got to keep moving.
Yeah,
we've got to keep moving.
Got to move with the times, man.
Staying still's moving backwards. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's all good. So just a couple of questions, John. We know you've got a busy schedule ahead of you, and I know your mind has to be focusing on the game, etc. But I just want to ask a couple of questions around what do you see as the key factors that will determine the outcome of today's game?
Well, at the minute I'm sweating on the weather a little bit. I'd prefer it to stay dry, although one of my receivers has just told me it doesn't matter. I'm not sure if I believe him, but I'd prefer it if it stayed dry. I think we're a much better passing team. I think they're a run-heavy offence, so if it stays dry, that certainly helps us. I think defensively, they do a very strong run game. They do a lot of wildcat stuff, quite a lot of two-back stuff, which most teams kind of tend to run 10 personnel these days. So if we can stop their run game, I think that kind of secures it for us defensively. Offensively, it's just about rhythm and timing. One of the big things of this team over the last 3 years has been the ability to score points fast. Mm-hmm. We can get into, maybe saw in the final last year, in other games, we can rack up 2-3 touchdowns really quickly. So just our offense getting into their rhythm early, try and get us a little bit of scoreboard lead, and then, like I said, if they're behind us and I start passing the ball, I think that plays to our strengths.
Okay. Very cool. Okay, fair enough. Noticing watching some of your game tape, timing seems to be key for your offense, and we've noticed when the timing is right with regards to the receivers and the QB, yeah, you guys are definitely a force moving forward. So obviously plays to your strengths, yeah. So, second question, what do you expect to be the biggest challenge from the Aztecs, and how do you plan to counter that?
Every year you kind of play a slightly different team because they cycle through the Americans that kind of they catch from UE. We know they've got a couple of really strong backs, and they've got a strong guy at linebacker. They've got a very, very strong secondary core. Very, very good running game, and they've got incredible depth. Running backs kind of similar to if you could look at us last year when kind of we were rolling through Joe Nick, Tom Jones, John Pangago, those guys. They've got a very strong running back room. I think that's kind of where we're going to see the majority of the challenges today. I think if we put anything loose, high and wide, I think we're going to get picked off, so we need to be disciplined in the passing game, hence my nervousness. I know usually Manx like the wind and the rain, but not today. I'd like it to exactly. Like it to settle down a little bit. But yeah, certainly I think it's just we know where they have excellent players. It's that running back position, linebacker, corner. So yeah, they're going to be coming at us today.
Yeah, you know, for the last couple of years, you guys had a target on your back.
We did say
and
yeah, it's going to stay there.
I know.
My next question is, how did you approach game preparation in the week leading up to this semi-final?
We have a pretty tried and tested model of scout and game prep in the way that we go through our film. We have scout sheets that every player has to contribute to in terms of getting to know your opposition player for player, individually, getting to know team scheme, tendencies, so on and so forth. And then we have a very kind of well-practiced scout practice routine in terms of pass skelly, box skelly, and then doing O&D scout. So we do all of that, but we just amplify. So we trained Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a lot of film study on the Thursday after the second practice. We've got literally every game they've played this year broken down, tagged up, tendencies. But it's just that little extra minutiae. You know, you guys know this from in your time. You know, you'll scout teams' tendencies, but at this level, it's a little bit, you know, run and pass tendencies. But for a game like this, you know, is the running back a yard behind the QB, or is he half a yard behind the QB?
Yeah.
Because that tells us little bits like that. You know, the
free snap reads, key identifiers.
Back deals. Certain players give you certain little things before the play or right at the start of the play, and you know when you get to this stage of the season, and you know you're in that kind of final four, and the level just jumps up a little bit.
It does.
And you see it each year because it's the same in the south as it is for us. Is that you know there's divisions within the division, and you know you're going to have to go up a level. So it's like little bits of minutiae, little bits.
You don't get a second chance, man. You're in the playoffs.
I know, this is
you
it.
You win, you keep going. You lose, you finish.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, just a quick question though. You mentioned about preparation. Do you guys go in shells in pre-practice, or do you go kit?
We always go in kit because I think you you can go full kit, no contact. I don't see the point in playing football without your kit on.
As long as your defense understands the word thud. As long as we
have documents that I heavily circulate at the start of the season that has all our contact levels on.
Got it.
And it details very explicitly what it all means in terms of when the bodies hit the floor, when bodies don't hit the floor.
And that is so important with regards to keeping your body healthy in practice. Yeah, so understanding how to do that.
Generally our thud contact is thud inside the box, full outside. We've actually gone kind of a thud touch hybrid this week, so just nobody's hit the floor. No one's hit the floor unnecessarily. So we're popping and we're letting go. You know,
that sounds impressive.
Yeah, the lines can go. But I mean, it's just like little things when we talk about tried and trusted practice. You know, our D-line know that if they beat their man, don't get in the way of the quarterback. Let him throw the ball. Yeah, so just run past him, shout sack, and the QBs know to continue to put the ball up there, and the DBs and the receivers get the rep. So that's just a little thing. You know, you have a team with a kind of a consistent coaching staff and a core that have been around long enough. These cultural things snowball and they persist through kind of changing the players. And so you know, when we come to January, the new guys pick it up really fast, and it kind of then by mid-August you're pretty well practiced.
Yeah. Sounds great. And finally, from a health perspective, you're starting 11 on offense and defense. Are they in a good position? Are they all good to go?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we've has been a rough season for us. Actually, it was a rough off season for us in terms of bodies that left. You know, we can get into the whole what's wrong with BritBowl debate very quickly.
Why don't we save that for another?
We
can do,
I
know you got a lot of material on that one.
I know we had a lot of guys move on into Europe. A couple of guys took some scholarships in the US. Obviously not big part players for us. We had a few guys retire. You know, I could probably reel off 12 to 15 names of guys that were integral to us. And then, you know, during the course of the season, you know, we had the 2 GB tight ends at the start of the season. These of them are going to play for us today, for example. So I think on the whole we're pretty good. We've had conversations. The guys that aren't starting know why they're not starting. They also know that, you know, it's 4 quarters. There'll be no rolling clock today. You'll get 4 quarters of football.
And you've got to be candid. It's just as simple as that. These players need to understand why they're not starting and what they need to do to be a starter.
Precisely.
And then when the opportunity knocks, you've got to step up. It's just as simple as that.
Yep.
Good. John, best of luck today for you and your Manchester Titans.
Appreciate you guys. Good to see you. Thanks. Trying to wipe all your expensive equipment. Good to see you. Hope you enjoy the day.
We will.
I'll see you later.
All right, bro.
We have the head coach of Bristol Aztecs. We have Mr. Pete Jones.
Afternoon, fellas.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, good, thank you.
You good? Okay, so I have a couple of questions for you, and I want to start with this. So what do you plan to do differently to push the Aztecs over the line and into the BritBowl finals?
So obviously we've had 2 back-to-back semi-finals up here the last couple of years that we've lost. And I think when you go into like a new environment, a new situation, it's kind of, there's some unexpected things that come up, and it might be the environment, it might be the team you're playing. There's kind of a lot to it, and we'd not been in the playoffs for the best part of 10 years until we came up here 2 years ago. And we didn't really have many players at all on the team that had kind of playoff experience. And we felt a little bit green, and looking back on it, we felt prepared at the time. But when you've kind of been through that experience, probably we weren't as prepared as we could have or should have been. We were definitely more prepared last year, even though it was not as close a game as the year before. And I feel like we're more prepared again this year. So, I think every year we kind of do a little bit more in terms of preparation and the depth we go to with not just hours of preparation, but the type of preparation, and not just schematic stuff, the players and some of the communications and that kind of thing. And I think, there are a number of teams at the top of British American football that are kind of pushing each other a little bit harder every year. Yeah. And, people will probably look at us and the Warriors and the Titans and see us as kind of the people at the top fighting against each other, which we are. But you could argue that the 3 teams have got more in common than the rest of BritBowl, because we are constantly pushing hard, and there are lots of other teams that are pushing hard that are at different stages in the journey. But there's 3 of us now that are kind of good and competitive. And there's been other teams in the past, hasn't it? Olympians and Jets and whatever. We're constantly pushing. We've definitely done a lot more in a lot of areas than previous years, and maybe asking that question again in 5 hours, and I'll have a different take on it.
I hear that, and we obviously we want to get some. We'd like to be in that position where we can have those questions and that conversation with you at the end of the game too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fine, yeah.
So, what do you see as the key factors that will determine the outcome of this game for a win for Bristol?
I mean, for me, right, players win games, and that's not to kind of belittle or bemoan all the work that coaches can and will do, but with the best preparation in the world, with the most attention to detail for scheme and strategy, like if the players don't execute, it's just not going to happen. And I feel like you need to look for the marginal gains wherever you can, and the way the coaches call the game in terms of strategy, play calls, like there's definitely potential for them to make some big plays. There's definitely potential for all the coaches to make some big mistakes. But I think ultimately both teams are relatively well balanced. We're both really good. We both got strengths in different areas.
So what do you expect to be the biggest challenge from the Titans, and how do you plan to counter?
I think I know they're 2 coordinators, and they're both very good, and I think they both have a very good feel for the game. I coached the offensive line at UWE, and we played against Leeds, and George runs the defence there, and so they both, players do win games, but they definitely have a lot more impact than a lot of coaches a lot more potential than a lot of coaches to impact the game on the day. And I think that if we try and get too tricky and try and second guess too much what the other team are doing, I think that can cause us problems. And we've definitely come up here before and had a little bit too much focus on what they were doing and a little less focus on what we were doing. As British American football has progressed over the last sort of few years with the level of coaching and the strategy and the amount of time people are putting into it, the level of the sort of scouting and analytics has kind of really gone through the roof.
Right.
And that does have a tendency to push everyone in the direction of being reactive to the opposition.
Okay, and finally, from a health perspective, you're starting 11 on the offense and you're starting 11 on the defense. Are they in a good place to go? Are they all healthy?
Yeah, we're pretty healthy. I don't think we've got any kind of big misses. We're missing we've got a wide receiver who's really, really important for us, who is here today but not playing because he's going off to the Flag World Championships tomorrow.
Okay.
And this is a big deal for us. that's a big deal for him. Obviously, there's the Olympics coming down the track, and that's a big deal. And so, you know, we support him in that. Wish he was playing, but we support him in that. So yeah, so we're missing a good receiver, and we've got a couple of DBs who have kind of had sort of long-term injuries through the season and have just come back over the last few weeks. So we've got some extra depth in the DB group, which we'll need because Manchester throw the ball well. You know, health-wise, one of those guys has got a game under his belt now. One of them, this is his first game back. So we'll see how they do, and hopefully they can stay healthy and sort of get through the game. You know.
I hear that. And then at the end of the day, it's about next man up, right? When a player goes down, you know, you've got the depth there. You know, who wants it? You know, who's hungry enough?
Yeah.
Can they fill in and you know, do the job?
Yeah.
Pete Jones, all the best today with yourself and the Bristol Aztecs in the semi-final.
Thank you very much, fellas, and we'll see you after the game. Yeah, nice one.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a
Cheers.
good one,
Thanks
bro.
a lot.
All right, no problem.
We've got Sam Fossey, correct?
Yep.
DB. We've got a couple of questions here for you today. First question: what is your main role? What is your main responsibility or assignment for today's game?
I don't think have an actual responsibility per se. I think it's more so just playing within the game plan that we have. Scouted them plenty throughout the last few weeks, knowing when we don't play them in the semis. So I think where we've come in with how we want to attack their pass game, their running game with the DBs involved, I think it's just about putting those in place. So nobody has a real key role what they're doing. It's just more about sticking to our plan, adjusting to their formations, and just kind of moving along how the game flows.
Okay.
So can I just jump in there? From an individual perspective,
Yeah.
though, what are you looking at with regards to you yourself, not playing in that defense, you yourself, preparation for today?
Preparation for today? I think just bring the energy. I think just obviously my own scouting, knowing their key players, like they have some very good players on the other side of the ball. It's about contributing and shutting down those, especially in the pass game. So it's more so understanding what they like to run on certain plays, how that I would affect that as playing either a down safety, high safety, how to take away their key plays. So I think it's about just coming with energy, like I said, sticking within the scheme, but mainly just going back off my own scout and my own preparation to it, really.
Right. So you do your own. Sorry, bro. So you do your own stuff on your Jack Jones,
Yeah.
including the team stuff.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah, I think it's important because obviously we have such amazing coaches like our DC George Foster. I mean, he gives us sheets worth and videos, but as a player, you have to find your own things that you can key on, that you can find that will work for you to look at on the game. Because obviously, as a coach, they're looking for what they're looking for, like the tendencies, the main things that happen, and so on and so forth. Like you guys know, when you're on the field as a player, you start picking up little things.
No doubt.
So you would need to find those little things that you can pick up, you can see, and only you might key on.
Key
but at least
identifiers
you know.
again. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Sam, this is one of my questions. Are you a pass or run safety?
I like to be both. I like to be both, but me, I like to be physical.
Yeah.
I like to be in the run game.
Okay.
Like if you told me you want to play deep or you want to play near the box, I'll pick the box the whole time. I feel like I process the game better. I like being around it. I like bringing the hits. I like talking after it. Like you can't do that when you're back there sometimes. You're kind of just back there when
They
everything's
can't hear you,
happening.
right?
You're talking to yourself.
But when you're like there in the moment,
Yeah.
you can talk, you can get involved with it.
Yeah.
I feel like you can impact it so much more on a level where it just builds up that hype as well.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so what? Oh, my bad. What steps are you taking to ensure that you stay focused and perform to the best under pressure?
I think I just stick to my game day routine. Like, I think every single game day, always buy McDonald's breakfast. I've done that for years now. Every single day, someone's like, "That's not healthy. Don't do that." I'm like,
Every time I hear that, I think of
Like-
Chad Ochocinco.
Because like someone else said,
All the
Because
time, innit? Yeah.
that's what he does. That's what he
Yeah,
lived
yeah,
on when
yeah.
he was playing.
But the thing, because I do PT for a living as well,
Yeah.
so that's like my profession. So when people are like, when it's not healthy, I'm like, why is it not healthy? It's food. It's quick energy. It works. Like it's the thing with game day. Like my personal routine, you just need to be comfortable with what you're doing.
yeah.
Like if you're comfortable, it makes you relaxed. It makes you happy. Like just do it. Doesn't matter. So I always go get my McDonald's breakfast in the morning. I live about an hour away, so I have to a little long drive. So I normally stick on a podcast for like the first 50 minutes.
Ballaz In Da Middle ones, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I've watched the podcast. I keep on it.
Good.
But stick on the podcast, just relax, look at the scenery as driving. And when I'm about like 15 minutes away, stick on the game day playlist. Full volume, windows down, just blaring out music.
Getting in that
What is
zone,
that playlist?
getting ready.
It is everything. DMX, Future,
Okay.
like Roll Deep, Wiley, like everyone's on it.
Okay.
Anything that does
Get
got
you
a
hyped.
beat that gets hyped, it's on that.
Alright, blessed. That's good, man. So, how do you plan to handle any unexpected changes or adjustments during the game?
Me personally, or as the team?
Well, as a safety,
Mhm.
you're kind of the coordinator within the
Yeah.
secondary. Do you make adjustments there? You tell them what you see, because I
Yeah.
guess you can read the game. Some people read the game better than others. Are you one of those people that can read the game?
Oh, 100%,
You
yeah.
pass it on to the guys what you see.
So like what I'm doing, that is one person that is good when I'm like back though thing. I'm always reading what's happening. Like I always base it back to the game plan we have, like we were talking about, and always kind of cross-reference. All right, they're doing their kind of like their jet sweep, they're doing their motions, they're in 10 personnel. This is what we're expecting. But then it's like what you said, when you start seeing teams changing, you just calling it out. You're talking to your coaches. You're like, right, what are we going to change? They're doing this differently. They're putting this person over here now. They didn't do that on film. So it's just about applying it, like changing to it. So I think the prep to it is just, like you said, when I'm seeing things, if there's anything different, is there a trend? Every time they're by the boundary, if they're in too tight end, it's always a run to the field.
So like,
is it stuff like that you see?
okay. So for example, like you was in your reading, and they change it before the snap of the ball. Are you calling it out then, or are you just waiting till the next?
Oh no,
next
100% calling it out.
Okay,
If I see anything, so like if they're changing something prior, we got 2 tight ends this side, they've spread out now, they're in ace, they've changed. I think it's like you said with the safety and reading the game, it's constant communication.
Cool.
Like you have to talk all the time. Because you got people on the front line, linebackers, corners, they're locked in. They're not looking
they
at
can't
anything
see it.
anymore.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So if they're hearing you talk, they're like, oh yeah, we got to change to that now because they've done that and that. So yeah, it's a constant well of communication and just passing it on to the whole defense.
Sweet.
Have a great game today and stay safe out there, man.
Of course, man. Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you, man.
Bring one home for me, yeah?
Of course.
It's been a while.
See you at the championship.
No doubt.
Okay. That's what I like, the confidence. So we have Lewis Benzie from the Bristol Aztecs, QB number 2. How's it going, man? You all right?
Happy to be here. Going great, my guys.
Great. A couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
Right, so what does your preparation look like for a game like this? It being one game away from the BritBowl.
Well, from experience, I've been here the last 2 years. So this year I've done it pretty similar to the last 2 years, but this year it's been taking care of my body, heading the playbook, heading film, just to be as prepared as I can be for the game today, and hopefully in 2 weeks' time as well.
Exactly, with what happened in 2 weeks' time.
Finals.
Right, okay. I hear you. But at the end of the day, it's all about I think it's all about preparing for the game in front of you, taking one at a time, and preparing for that one game, man. But yeah, man, I do like the vision. I do like the vision.
Manchester's been booked in our schedules for a very long time, so we've been trying to prepare as best as we can since
Got it.
pre-season.
So what do you see as being the key factors to beating this defence today?
Just getting in the hands of our playmakers. Like, we've got such explosive players on both sides of the field, so our defensive backs are one of the top groups in the country. We've got CJ, Joe Cassidy, Eddie Odemade, and then receiver-wise we've got Dags, AJ, Jermaine. It's just getting the ball into your playmakers' hands and making them make plays.
And guess what? The thing about it is that you're the catalyst. It all starts from you, and you got to get the ball in their hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's no one else around you. I mean, you got to get the ball in their hands.
That is very true.
That is very true. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. So, what have you learnt from watching game tape on the Titans defense?
Several things. Like, they go multiple different coverages. They their defensive line shifts a lot. They slant as well on the D-line. Just little like things we have to pick up on, like from each group. So O-line have their own things to worry about. I've got the defense and like as a whole to worry about, and just breaking down them things and just making life a lot more easier for me on game day.
Right. Okay. Question now. So you've obviously you've done your due diligence, you've done your study, you've watched game tape, and you've got to put it all together on the field. When you get that play called into you and you tell it to the team and then you walk up to the line, what's your first read? I mean, as a running back, I know what my first reads were, but as a QB, what's your first reads? Let's just say it's a passing play. Let's just say it's some quick slants. What's your first?
As soon as I get the play in, I started doing this season. I just take a deep breath first, just to take the situation in. Then I identify the safeties, so then I get my reads for the play. So too high, I've got X route to throw.
Yeah.
One high, throw this one instead.
Yeah.
And then I always, when the ball's getting snapped, I need to keep an eye on the key defenders, so safeties, if they roll, if they stay high, stuff like that.
Right. Okay. Cool. So if you had the choice, what 3 plays would you run back to back to keep those chains moving and managing the clock?
I'm a sucker for a dagger concept. I love a good dagger. So
go for it.
Seam, deep in, can't beat it. Beats cover 3, beats cover 4, and then man's just pick your best guy. So
what's your read on that seam and that deep in? That free safety? Seam
takes the safety, hit the dig, otherwise we've got a shallow comeback underneath. Just money every play, love it.
and your relationship with your O-line, because that is really important. Now, am I right in saying you're a right-handed quarterback?
Yes.
Right, so I'm going to jump out there and say that your left tackle's your best friend.
Oh yeah, love it.
Right. Okay. What's the relationship like with you and your offensive line?
We're just dinner every day, of course.
We're just really comfortable with each other. Like we're all in the same group chat. We always have jokes. Like it's like a internet. We're all a family at Aztecs. Like an offense, we grow it every week together. Like from pre-season to now, the change has been crazy.
Are you a new family? Are you an old family?
We're building from the baseline we created last year. So we've added players, some have left, but we still got the baseline from, okay, we made it to the playoffs last year and the year before, let's keep on doing that.
Okay. And your prediction for today?
Obviously we win.
Okay. By what, 1, 2 scores? Field goal?
Wins a win.
Don't
Doesn't
care.
matter how much.
I like that.
You just take
1 point. It's a win.
He's going to take it, man, so they get to the final. So, Lewis, I appreciate that, man. Have a great game today. Stay safe out there.
Thank you very much.
Good luck, bro.
Thank you very much, Vic.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good one, man.
Thank you.
Okay. So this afternoon we got Cade Making.
Yeah.
My bad. DM for the Manchester Titans.
Yep.
Yes. I've got a couple of questions there for you today.
Shoot.
What is your main responsibility or assignments for today's game as a DN?
As a DN or just defensive lineman in general, it's just staying disciplined and doing the basics right. Stopping the run and then getting after the QB. Nothing special, nothing fancy. Just playing football hard and fast and dominating the line of scrimmage.
Okay,
I hear that, man. Confidence, bro.
Straight to the point.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Number 2. So, how do you plan to contribute to stopping the opposition, the key key offensive players? So, they got some good running backs on in their backfield. How are you going to stop them?
Yeah, so like you said, they've got some good running backs. They've got a shifty QB. I believe he's number 7. I might be incorrect by the number, but they've got a shifty QB. So keeping the QB contained, forcing everything up the middle, just executing the defensive game plan in general. George Foster is a smart guy. He's given us a great defensive game plan to follow, and it's just about staying disciplined and doing the basics right. Like I said before, nothing fancy, just stopping the run, forcing them to go against their game plan, and forcing them to make mistakes, and then hopefully we can capitalise on that.
So if you stop the run game, they're going to go into their pass game.
And I get to have fun.
There you go. There you go.
To have fun.
Do you mind if I just jump in on a quick one? What do you prefer? Do you prefer a 5, 7 or 9 tech?
I prefer a 5.
Right.
I prefer to have a bit more space to work with.
Right.
You know, I'm not the biggest defensive lineman. You know, I'm very powerful. I'm pretty quick off the ball. So if I can play in a bit more space, you know, I prefer that. But you know, I don't mind playing 3 tech. You know, if I can play over the centre as well, and I can use my speed.
So you move up and down the line.
I don't typically play centre here, but yeah, I do occasionally play up and down the line.
Cool.
From 5 tech, stand up end, and then go into 1 tech if need be. Yeah, I play up and down the line.
Okay.
So speedster. Okay.
Do you ever drop back into zone?
Not this year. I have done it. You know, I'm expected to do that a bit at GB every now and again. So it's not something I'm, you know, unfamiliar with.
Got it.
But it's not been something we've needed to do this far in the year.
Okay. So, how do you plan to handle any unexpected changes or adjustments during the game?
So basically, after every defensive drive, the D line will come off the field. We'll huddle together, and we'll communicate. We'll communicate what we're seeing on the field, what's happening, what they're doing wrong, what they're doing right, where we need to make adjustments. You know, so every time we come off the field, we're having those chats, making sure we're on the ball. We're filling in the people who are on the sideline that maybe they're going to rotate in soon, making sure they know what to expect when they go in, how to adjust, and where we can capitalise, basically.
Okay, cool. And the last one, what do you think is the most important thing for the defence to do to succeed today?
Just continue with our momentum. You know, down south, they like to think that they can come here. Some of them are bigger boys.
Preach, boy, preach!
They can bully us. But,
That's what I like to hear, boy. It's a fighting talk.
Manchester football is different. Yeah, we might not be the biggest, but you know, we're going to smack you in the mouth. We're not going to fold under pressure. So it's just carrying on that momentum. We've gone undefeated this year. We went undefeated last year. We've been a dominant defensive force throughout the last couple of years, and it's just keeping that ball rolling, keeping that momentum going. The first drive, punch them in the mouth, make sure they know they're playing at our home turf, and keep the momentum going.
All right, I'm going to ask you one last one that's not on there. You going to let them score?
Hey, they're a good team.
Okay.
They're a good team. The goal is always to keep a clean sheet. But, you know, we expect them to, they train too. We expect them to be good. We expect them to be able to make plays. But as the age-old saying goes, bend, don't break. Yeah. If they score, don't worry, we'll come back. Yeah. As long as we're holding our hands up at the end of the game, that's all I care about.
Okay.
Championship football. Here we go. Kate, appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Bring it in, man.
No problem.
Sorry for messing up your name, man.
No problem, man.
Bless.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
No worries, man. Terrell Jones, aka TJ. Where's number 8? Okay, that's the 8 baller. Got a couple of questions for you, man.
Alright.
Straight away, man. My man's legs, man. He's
Those are back.
down running back, boy. Takes me back. I feel you. Okay, so first question is, this being one game away from the BritBowl, how do you prepare mentally and physically for a game like this in comparison to like a regular season game?
Growing up playing, I always had the mentality or been taught that you got to treat every game like it's a normal game. Because no matter the hype, because if you get too much into the hype, that's when you start to, you know, decrease. So my mentality stays the same all throughout the season, whether win, lose, or draw. We just got to stay focused, stay ready at all times.
Right. So that ritual, man. So that do you go through? So when I was playing back in the day, I always used to go through a specific ritual with my clothes laid out, with the music, things I used to talk to myself about, getting myself into that zone, ready for the game. What do you do?
Say a little prayer when I wake up in the morning, get the day started, you know, eat breakfast, get my mind right, but straight away to music right after prayer. Gotta get my mind right. Yeah, get in that killer zone. So, yeah.
You know your boys dress well.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that feeling.
It's never planned. I just throw my stuff in the bag, and if it looks good,
That's
it looks
planned.
good.
As much as you might not think it's planned, that's planned.
Hey, I tell you.
Okay, so what are the key things that you're focusing on today to keep them chains moving, man? To manage that clock, to move down the field and potentially get 6, if not 3.
Man, just throughout the season, we just been trying to make sure we stay on schedule. As a running back, 3 to 5 yards is just fine. It keeps the sticks moving regardless. So even if we get behind the sticks, we're just gonna stay focused and make sure we can get back on track. So that was our main focus.
Okay, cool. So what's your relationship with the O-line? Now me, man, the relationship I had with my O-line was great. I mean, the thing about it is when we played NFL Europe, it was about gaining the respect first and foremost on the offensive line.
Right.
And then once you got that, then now you had your back.
Mhm.
What's your relationship like with the offensive line today?
Coming into the Aztecs a little late, I committed a little later than everybody else did, but they welcomed me with open arms, and from that day forward, and I was blessed enough to break 1K. So those are my dogs, I call them my hamburglers, but those are my guys, my big dogs, my trenches.
I think you tend to find offensive line, if they know they got a good back behind them, yeah, they're gonna want to block.
Yeah, for sure.
They're gonna want to block for
Yeah.
for sure.
Those are my guys.
They jump
for
on
sure.
that quick.
Yeah.
So hopefully later on today we'll be dancing in the end zone together. So
I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear
yeah.
that. I hear
That's the
that.
confidence I like to hear.
yeah.
So as a running back, you're looked upon as a triple threat: run, pass, accurate receiving. What is the skill gap where you feel that you need to improve on out of those 3?
I'll say as a rusher, I'll say yards after contact. Sometimes against bigger linebackers or just bigger DBs, I gotta take what I can. So that's one as a rusher. Receiving, route running a little bit. So some of them look sloppy. Sometimes I can do a little too much and just keep it simple at the. Well, that can go for both receiving and passing. And pass pro, that's a big thing. So making sure nobody touches my boy Benzie today. So
You hear that?
that's my biggest one so far.
Okay. So if you had a choice of one play, man, or let's say 2 plays that you're comfortable with, your offensive line is comfortable with, where every time you touch that ball, you're gonna get 4.5, 5 yards every pop. What are they?
Well, that's every run play that we got. That's how much faith I got in my line.
Okay.
So any run play we got, I feel like 3 to 5 or maybe even more. So
Yeah.
Okay. Like that confidence there.
I love that, man. Okay. Terrell, stay safe today, man,
Most definitely.
and have a great game.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Have a good one, bro.
Appreciate y'all having me.
Good luck, man.
Thank you.
All the best, man. Stay safe out there. So we have Mr. Adam Bamba, or
Sure.
IE, aka Fresh.
Yeah, that's my nickname. That's football only. That, so yeah.
Okay, I hear that. So,
Exclusive.
okay, so I know where you're going with that, because in my football career, everyone just knows me as Hutch,
Yeah.
as a tag. But why do they call you Fresh, man?
Right. So a lot of people are like, oh, it's got to be a cool reason behind it. Oh, he's quite a clean looking guy. And I'm like, no, it's not that. The first year of uni, I was hungover. I stayed at my friend's place, drove over to my first American football, unkitted session. Never played before in my life.
Yeah.
Didn't have a shower. Grabbed the cap off his. It was like a little cloakroom in his house, and he said the word London Fresh on the back. Just put the cap on backwards. Apparently, I played all right, caught a good ball, and then Sam Bloomfield, the quarterback, pointed. He went, Fresh. And that's your name. And now 12 years later, I'm here stuck with the nickname
United
Fresh.
by the Bloom Star.
Yeah,
Got
that's it. Yeah,
I
straight
feel you,
down.
I
I
feel
never
you.
knew that was going to happen. I would have never played. So, but no, yeah, that's where that came from. So no exciting story. Sorry.
Okay, cool. So, this being the first game away from the BritBowl, how do you prepare mentally and physically for a game like this?
Yeah. So it's weird. I don't know what some of the other guys have said or whatnot, but when you go from regular season, things start to get a bit serious now. So I'd like to say my nutrition's pretty on point all season anyway. It's what I did at university, so I have like a key thing on it. So sports nutrition, that type of like recovery and everything on top of that. So I take that very seriously. So not much changes there. I'll cut the gym down a little bit. I want to make sure that I'm on top of it. But the film it goes through the roof. Like I need to analyse every player. So we've been doing it recently with my positional group, receiver. Been holding teams calls, like sending out questions for them all, like getting everybody to have a certain player. So outside linebacker, safety, corner, anything that we're going to deal with in a game, and it'll just be hours and hours of preparation. Not to the point of burnout, obviously, to the point of where it makes sense. And if I can line up today and I can look at my guy and just be like, I know exactly the tendencies that he's going to give me right there, and it matters more at this point because obviously it's win or lose. It's your season's over, isn't it? Like so, if you lose, so that's when it kind of gets a little bit more from there. So. Think third year at this point now, kind of going semi straight to finals. It's you know what to kind of expect. The first year was a little bit more kind of there was more there, and then he starts playing up here as well. And you're just like, I don't know how to play football anymore. And then you realise some of the guys, you're like, oh my god, these guys are sick. And then you realise actually no, with the scheme and the stuff that you've got going on, then that's how we do it. So I know you kind of come into it full confidence, not obviously doubting anything about them guys, but I feel like the prep that we've done and the guys that we've got and the scheme that we've got. Feeling pretty confident, so that's that. Play.
What's your relationship like with the QB, Mr. Sam Bloomfield, and that relationship? How does it impact the game?
Oh, 100%. Like you can stick a quarterback in there, but if you don't have the relationship with him, then they don't know how you're going to do a cut on your break, or like at what step you're going to turn, or how you're going to come for ball. If you're going to turn in, you're going to turn out, or how you're going to attack a defender, or what point is when you're both going to expect. Say him to throw the ball or me to turn my head for the ball. Like there's loads of things into it. Like I said, he was the person that kind of brought me into this sport, and he's been essentially my only quarterback since I've started.
Got it.
So if you're talking like over a decade of playing with that guy, you can't. If something goes wrong, then we both just sit there pointing the finger at each other, and then nothing gets resolved because we both know how we play. And we'll just sit there, and I'd say it's probably ego-wise. We're both like, that's your fault, and he'll just be like, and then you might see it today at some point. If something goes wrong, there'll be a finger pointed immediately, and then we just got to get our head down and go away. But because of the relationship we do have, we're very close outside of football as well.
Yeah.
So
that helps.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So he's not just. I don't see him as just like my teammate. He's one of my closest friends. He's going to be.
So finally, my last question for you: if you had the choice of one play that you could work with Sam to you, that the Aztecs can't stop all day, what would it be?
When does it go like this? Ain't going on before the game or anything. No, I won't go into the details on it, but the only play that I'd say would be we've got it was a seam read, and it's as simple as that, and you can't go wrong with it. It's also Luke Colton giving us the trust in his receivers and his quarterbacks to make the decision themselves. So I think that's the difference with a lot of teams as well, is that they'll have plays for everything, which in theory on paper you could be like, right, yeah, that's going to work. But we have it so I will make the decision of where I'm going to run my route 2 steps into my route before, say, like Sam's even had a chance to have a look around. So he'll scout, I made the decision of what I'm going to do, and he'll look and he'll make that decision.
Do you give him a signal?
No signal. It's all whilst you're running your route.
Or run it, right.
Yeah,
so when he reads your steps with regards to the throw that he's got
so that's what I mean. So everything's done with steps and rhythm, and that's why it's good that we have that relationship, because he knows at what point I'm I'm going to cut in on a post or cut out on a seam or cut out on an out.
Right.
And he knows at what point I'm going to do that. And it rarely, 99%, like 99 times out of 10, 100, so bad maths, but that won't change. That'll always be the same. That'll be it. It's as simple as that, and that's due to one of the successes in the the relationship we have. So definitely 100% in that play is the same with the outside guys as well for him as well. So he has so many options. We're always on the same page, and that's what makes it.
Look for that today.
Me too.
Yeah.
Mr. Adam Bamba.
That's me.
AKA Fresh.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Have a good day today.
Thank you.
And stay safe.
Well,
You too, man.
Definitely gonna look for that one today.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah. You
And
too.
good luck, bro. Have
Thank
a good
you.
one, yeah?
Thank you.
In the middle, we've got Jason here from the Bristol Aztecs.
Yep.
A man of my own height, plays DB. Okay. I've got a couple of questions for you,
Sure.
Jay. If you don't mind me calling you Jay.
Yeah, no, Jay's fine. Yeah, of course.
So, what is your main responsibility or assignment in today's game?
Start the Titans. Starting from throwing the ball, starting from running the ball, just dominate all over the field, make it uncomfortable for them, make the receivers fear me and fear us as a defense, and just
get into them. That's
Okay.
literally it.
Yeah, my man.
Sounds like a disruptor, man. Sounds like a disruptor. Okay.
Not simple. Okay, let's go to this one. What steps are you taking to ensure you stay focused and perform your best under pressure?
I just do exactly what I do every single game. Like pre-game meals, the exact same. Music's the exact same. Everything, warm-up's the exact same, and just treat it like practice really. And rely on my technique, rely on my eyes, scheme, and be fine.
What's your music selection?
I just listen to drill. A lot of drill.
Hey.
Yeah.
Music drive me deep, yeah.
I'm from North London, so most of the I listen to like music from my area and stuff like that.
Okay,
just
fair enough.
Just want to mash shit up.
You know what I mean? So what do you play, left or right?
I really play anywhere in the secondary and the defense really. But yeah.
I see you play strong and free.
Yeah, I play strong free. I play corner as well, nickel, linebacker, everything.
It's a Swiss Army knife, boy.
Yeah, what's your preference?
Just football, really.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to be on the field.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Bless for that. Okay.
Can I just throw one quick one in there?
Yeah.
Cover corner or
No,
are you?
He's like me, bro.
You lay the wood?
Yeah, I like to.
You like to lay the wood?
Yeah, I like to.
Okay.
The minute you started talking, I knew you weren't about trying to get no picks. You just trying to lay someone.
Do you know what the thing is? I want to get the ball, but I like getting a man as well because it's an intimidation thing. You know, as soon as you get someone, everyone's like, oh. I don't know if we should go there, you know. That sort of thing. So
I don't. I ain't interested. No, he would have to strike to me. I'm not looking out for no ball.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you think is the most important thing for the defense to succeed today?
Really, you know, they have an offense that relies on you making a mistake. So everyone needs to stay focused today. You know, just run to the ball. Break down, get the ball carriers, tackle well, and we should get off the field every single drive. You know, if not, then this kind of team will expose you. So yeah, just focus and run to the ball, definitely.
And are you one of those? Oh, so you've got a big C on his chest. So you keep the guys in check.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got two captains, offense and defense. So I'm in charge of the DBs and stuff. And we've got a great group of DBs. Hopefully you guys see it today. So you know, just keep those guys in check. Definitely.
Right, good.
Yeah,
that was a quick one, man. That's all we got today, but we wish you the best of luck, man.
Thank you.
And I will be watching to see what your skills are like.
Sure.
But good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Stay safe out there today.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great game. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you, man.
Yes, bro.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah. We're North. Tottenham Wood Green.
I'm Wood Green actually. How do you know?
Because I'm from Wood Green, bro.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
You're from Wood Green as
yeah.
well? That's crazy. Yeah.
Fellas,
Well, look, you, Pete.
Congrats, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You are in the final of the
Yeah.
BritBowl for this year. How does that feel?
yeah, it feels pretty good. It feels very good. You know, the club's never been to the BritBowl before. I lost 4 semi-finals as a player, all to the Coventry Jets.
Oh, okay.
I think at least one of them at the hand of Ruel Blemon. and obviously we lost 2 semis here. So we're coming here for a 3rd semi. I previously lost 4 semis as a player against Coventry. And I'm like, man, this feels like deja vu, you know, like going to the same, you know. And I feel like we've kind of broken some kind of, I don't know, jinx or whatever. But you know, we've done it through sort of preparation and hard work. And I definitely feel like kind of what I was saying pre-game about us, like they've got really good coaches, and you can almost tie yourself up in knots trying to get into like a coaching battle. And you know, we kind of tried to kind of keep it relatively simple. You know, on offense, we're trying to, you know, just play around with our personnel groupings and create some extra gaps here and there. You know, run the ball, throw the stuff that's on, not try and do anything kind of too funky or get too obsessed with what they're doing every play. Just try and give them some questions to answer and take some confidence that we've got some good players that can make some plays. And they're not going to have solutions for every question we ask them, you know?
It's not easy to travel, I don't know, 3, 4 hours to come up here, you know, play away, you know, against the fans and put the scores up you did. You beat the national champions by 3 scores. What did you do different? What did you see that was different today?
I don't know. Like, I feel like there's an element, right, of you get kind of battle hardened, and you know, every year we travel to the London Warriors and the London Blitz, and they've been good teams for years. And every year we've travelled, you know, further than this. Geographically, it's not further, but in terms of time, you know, battling through the London traffic and the M25. So twice a year we're making these kind of 3.5, 4 hour treks to play really, really good teams. You know, we beat the Blitz once away from home. We've never beat the Warriors away from home. So you know, we are well versed in travelling away to difficult games. The 2 semi-finals here, and we're kind of, you know, we're learning to deal with it and cope with it. You know, we beat the Blitz away for a second time a few weeks ago. So, you know, I feel like, yeah, players and coaches come and go, but there's kind of like a character within a team, and there's almost like that knowledge that stays within the team, even though it changes every year. And teams have identities, even though they change. And I feel like, you know, we've been getting better for 20 years now, and we've never got all the way to the BritBowl. And there's some ups and downs, but if you drew a kind of trend line through it all, we have been gradually getting better. And you know, we've had players that have left and come back and coached, and you know, Nigel was coaching the D-line when I was playing. You know, and when I got the head coach job a couple of years ago, rang him up pretty quickly and was like, "Do you want to come back and coach?" And he was like, "Oh, maybe not." But then a year later, he rang me up and was like, "Yeah, maybe up for it now." You know, and so we've built a good football ecosystem in the Southwest, and there are people that kind of want to come and play. You know.
So I think with regards to Bristol Aztecs, the thing that sticks out to me is continuity, yeah, and continuity within the years to build a team, a successful team, and then to be successful, you need continuity within the team, as in keeping players, keeping the coaches. How do you plan on trying to do that bit?
Yeah, and for me, it's not necessarily the same people or coaches, but I think you need certain types of people. And you know, you could probably tell me about a Scottish Claymores team you played on, and you'll be like, well, there was this guy who always was the big bully on the O-line, and everyone used to kind of coalesce around him and get after the... Every team's got one of those guys, and I feel like if you haven't got one of those guys, you need to kind of find one of those guys. And teams have these kind of guys, and you know, we've got a few sort of veteran leaders that we've kind of cultivated over the last few years. You know, we got a wide receiver who punts and kicks for us, kicked a drop goal today. He played for us in 2014, went off to Europe, played in Finland, played in Germany. And I've kind of worked hard to get him back, and he's come back home to the area now, and we've got him along. And you know, he's not a kind of superstar wide receiver like he was, but he makes all the wide receivers around him better. And he's a leader on the team. And you just need, you know, to have some people around who've played in big games, who've played good football. And today, even when, you know, there were times our backs were up against it, he was like, "This is great. This is what I want. I want football like this every week." And you need people who want to play in games like this, who like it when it's tough, and you know, you've got to have that right balance. And yeah, you want some, you know, some younger guys who are maybe a little bit afraid, and all these different kind of things that make up a team. But you need certain characters to help try and kind of build the kind of team environment right, and that's what I've tried to do. And so I've tried to create a continuity of certain types of people, and this person might come and go, but if you know you're lacking that kind of leadership, then is there anyone else around who you get to do it, or someone else on the team you could try and cultivate to make that kind of the breadth of the leadership group you need. Yeah, and that's in the staff as well as the players, you know.
Right.
And I think that's important.
You know, like I was saying to Nigel, that you played a great defense. Your defense was off the chain, but like Haj was saying earlier, that change on that offense is what changed the whole game. You know, those 3 players, not just the 3 players, but having that, being able to, let me take that group out and put this one in, being able to do that throughout the game is what threw them off balance quickly. You know, it was a defense a little better in the beginning of the game, and then it just quickly changed when you brought that Wildcat offense in. It was like, okay, what do we do here now?
Yeah, and for me, right, like, we're all shaped by our experiences as players, right? I was an offensive lineman, you know, stunts, twists, all that kind of stuff. You're like, okay, you just want to block the guy in front of me. Do you know what I mean? And if you can give people lots to think about, you know, whether it's eye candy or whether it's actual stuff you do it, like, you know, and I think with our personnel groupings, and also, you know, KK, you know, playing a little bit of receiver, a little bit of running back, a little bit of QB, gives them lots to think about. They're always looking for him.
Yeah.
And he's not just going to be a QB or running back. Like 1 minute he's at Z, and then he's in at the slot, and you're moving around, giving him lots to think about. And obviously we've got, you know, we've got other. You know, Terrell says he don't keep an eye on the numbers. You know, he's had a 1,000
Come
yard.
on now.
He's
You know
know
he's
what it's
keeping an eye on the numbers now.
he's had a 1,000-yard rushing season, right? And
Yeah.
you know,
He
he's kind
mentioned
of,
that.
He mentioned that, yeah.
yeah. He don't keep an eye on the numbers. But he mentioned-
Yeah.
And you know, we've been giving him sort of 10 carries a game, and he's been getting 100 yards a game, and we've not had to lean on him too heavily. But we've got lots of other bits that kind of, you know, like he's generally the guy that does most of the damage, but we don't need to like thrash him. Even today, you know, it wasn't like carry.
And it's funny you should say that because I was asking that question. You know, at one point you had number 21 in. Isn't not Eddie, is it?
No, that's Lewis Munn.
It's Lewis Munn. Right,
Yeah.
we didn't know who that guy was, but again, another successful running back who was moving the chains. And I said, well, what's wrong with TJ? TJ injured? And the answer to that question was no.
No, and I mean we've had, you know, I think, you know, TJ's. I may be speaking out of turn. I don't think he's ever kind of played an offense where he's had 25, 30 carries.
Right.
And so, you know, we've kind of assessed that the way we get the best out of TJ is to keep him fresh for all 4 quarters. And if we give him 25 carries, he's probably going to be gassed by the 4th quarter.
Got it.
And he's the kind of guy you want to close out a game. And you know, he was still getting some carries later in the game.
Yeah.
Lewis Munt is a guy who's on the sort of the broader GB squad. I don't think he's made the squad for the next game. But you know, he's good, he's young, he's just coming off a little bit of an injury. So he was a little bit sore today, but he was good enough to give us a couple of carries, a few good first down carries. Emmanuel Bauer had some good carries today and picked up some good yards. He played New York Lions, so he's played a little bit in the GFL. So you know, and we got to use those guys. And you know, we were absolutely focused on winning this game and getting out of here today. But if you do that at the expense of your starting QB and your best running back, and then it's like, yeah, I'm not going to go in 2 weeks. You know, we played lots of guys today. We got some depth on. We were rotating a few spots. You know, we had 5 DBs that were all playing. And there's potential that unsettles things a little bit. But you know, we had one eye on trying to keep the squad fresh. And yeah, you know, if we lose this game, we got some fresh guys that aren't playing the next couple of weeks. But we didn't want to win this game and be spent. And you know, we've still got some left in the tank. And you know, we've got 3 practices now. And you know, and we see the London Warriors.
You know, you know you can rely on them if you give them the time and they don't mess up when they play and they do the time that you ask them to do. So you know, okay, if he's blowing, I know I can put him in there and he'll get the job done.
For sure. And I think, you know, players are changing, people are changing. You know, I kind of played like a few years later than you guys, but you know, we would always play injured. I'm sure you guys were like always playing injured. I've seen you playing injured, yeah. And it's a little bit different now. Players aren't as inclined to do that, and I think that's a sign of the times. Things are changing. I think, you know, the kind of running back that you put a load on, like, I don't know, like the Titans used to put on Eddie George, for example. Like even in the NFL, it's not really kind of a thing anymore.
It doesn't happen anymore. We were talking about the same thing come driving up here.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have that featured back.
Yeah.
One touching the ball 25, 30 times anymore.
Yeah.
You've got 2 or 3 that rotate.
Exactly. And your featured back is getting 10 carries a game, 1,000 yards a season, rather than 25 carries a game and 2,000 yards a season. But he's fresh, and you know, he's not going to be in bits when he's 30. You know what I mean?
Pete, we could talk to you about this all day, man. But the thing about it is that we've got to say congratulations.
Thanks, fellas.
You're in the BritBowl, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks.
Nice one.
We'll see you in 2 weeks. For sure.
Yeah. Got some snaps in you, the pair of you? Got some snaps in you, maybe?
I might still have
I reckon you could.
With that, the winners, Bristol Aztecs. Guys, congratulations on the way you did it. You both came, yep, for sure. That's what you predicted. And that's what you said you did. I'm glad that all you players are safe and no one's really injured as such. And we also got Mr. Nigel Hoyt here, you know, Hall of Famer from BAFA. Congratulations to yourself and ex-London Monarchs player.
A long time ago.
Please go to ball. But I mean, you know, from where I was sitting, the thing that took me with regards to your team was and I was saying to your head coach Tony Jones as well, is your offensive personnel, your groups that you came in with and moved the ball successfully down the field. And I just don't think the Titans were ready for that. I mean, what's your view on that? What's your take on that?
Well, from when we played them last year, our offensive's completely changed. It's just they're probably just seeing it for the first time. I know they've watched film, but like seeing it on the field for the first time it's very hard to adapt to. And with the amount of motions we do, they can't really key on what we want to achieve as an offense.
For sure. I mean, you had yourself, you had Brooks going in and out at QB. Because at one point I was asking a question. I said, "Are you injured? Are you hurt? Why aren't you in?" but I then got it.
Yeah.
You know, he was when he was playing QB, he was like the 6th eligible receiver downfield, and I just don't think that they planned for that.
No.
I mean, coming to yourself, I mean, you had an outstanding game. What, did you go over 100, up 100 today?
I don't know. I don't count the stats.
Well, I saw you break one for 60, and prior to that, so I know you're pretty close.
They tell me at the end of the game, I just go out there and play hard these games. So
I hear you.
if I get 100, if I get 50, a win's a win. So
No doubt. Oh, yeah.
Hey, that's
we get the job done.
team player. That's the team. Could you just talk us through that touchdown that you ran, the 60 yarder?
Pretty much, we've been hammering down, like, make sure you get in front of your man, because if I get a crease, it's going to go for a big one. So everybody did their job, executed well, and I was able to find the crease and off to the races. So it was a good little game plan going there.
As we saw.
No doubt, man. Listen, I watched that. I was watching. That's why I had to come and ask you about your defense. You know, it's watching the secondary because that's me.
Yeah.
You seem the secondary, your linebackers. It was a great combination because they went to cover 0, cover 1, and for a coach, that's good that you had confidence in them to play that coverage, because playing those coverage, going man on man, it's very risky.
Yeah.
Very risky,
Yeah.
and to respect that, because that shut their game down. You can see that disrupted their quick stuff, because when you got a man right in front of you, you don't give him no space to do his little moves, and that's what they relied on.
Yeah.
And it just changed the whole game for them. That's why their timing was all out the window. Then they try to run. Later on in the game, me and Hutch were sitting there, we talking, why didn't I run like seam routes?
We couldn't get it.
It seemed like
We couldn't get it.
we couldn't even get that. And the one your middle linebacker picked him off. So
Yeah. I think I'll be honest. I do know that to a degree. I'm lucky that I've inherited a lot of talent this year that maybe wasn't there last year, and Pete Meager on board, because we kind of like schemed for this game. So the past 10 games, we'll get into this one. So we kind of put together a defense, and I was literally sitting there with bits of paper and a pen back in February drawing up stuff, and I thought, let's go to an odd front that we can shift into an even front. And then after the game against the Warriors, we started to come out of our Miami defense and went to more of a heads up, because we aren't blessed with big linemen, but we can move the athletics. So suddenly, big linemen have got to play against guys that are moving quickly. We can bounce it, we can move it across as well. So a lot of stuff that we did today worked. Some stuff we got away from. So one thing about I've learned this year is that if something isn't working, you get away from it and go to something else. But to be fair, we put a lot of work in the last 2 weeks. I've watched so much film of the Titans. I can tell you what their parents are called.
I think
so much film, I can tell everything. So
the thing that we were talking about was we saw that when Titans came out with a spread offense, and you guys played no safeties at all, and you just played man up with no safeties in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
You were like, well, what are you guys doing?
yeah, it's like I said.
But the thing about it is, it worked.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It worked.
But you got to know, because you couldn't suddenly get it. If someone breaks one, they're gone. And
That's exactly what I was saying.
But also, you play the odds. So to a degree, one of the things that I said to my OC was that, look, I'll give you 14 points. Can you give me 21? I gave him 12. So deal was done. So in offense, they showed up. And I can't. When we had to get drives into there, they drove the football for us, and it's a team game. So in the past, we've had issues where we're not showing together, but today we showed up together. And with that also, we've got another tough game coming up in 2 weeks' time. I want no illusions. This one's in the bag. We've got to learn what we did well here. We'll then work across and learn. We've got to change what we're doing a little bit for next team. Because next team coming is going to be a power team. We know that.
Sure. I mean, that was one of my questions to your players earlier on in the pre-season interviews, was about what have you guys done in the lead up to this game? How have you prepared? What have you done different? Because this is a you win, you continue. You lose, you finish.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you're back into that situation again.
Yeah, we are. And I think it's down to a mentality. I like to think, that one of the things that I brought with the team as well, and I think generally the defence, we've got a mentality, where we're not going to give up. I used the word relentless and used that to start the season. The guys that they gave their all, it's very tough when playing defence. And sometimes you're thinking these guys physically outman you, but actually we've got a lot of athletes out there who can play football. It comes down to just pure ownership and owning the stuff. The stuff you do, the stuff you do with the lifting, the running, conditioning. There's all stuff you don't see,
Of course.
Like today, you know yourself, okay, how much guys stuff you've had to do, you know, how much stuff I've had to do. All right, it comes now down the game, okay, you can tell the guys who are in shape, the guys who know the playbook because they show them and play, and the team as well. And I would say that the team we beat today, they're not as good as teams I thought it would be, but saying that, they are a good team and they are the current national champions, so technically we had a good win today, you know.
Well, we can't take nothing. Well, we can't take nothing away from you guys today.
You know, you guys can't. They were out moving you on the D line. You can't see that in there because whenever they're trying to run the rock, you lot was shutting that shit down.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't say, oh, they, you know, we're a lot bigger than us. Nah, man, you look, that front line was moving.
Yeah.
And they moved, you know, moved well.
Yeah.
So you know, I'll take my hat off to you. You guys did well, bro.
For sure. Yeah, take your win, save your win.
Yeah.
Get back to Monday. Get back in your books, man, and let's get ready.
Wednesday practice.
There you go. I hear you.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice. Appreciate it. Thank you. Take care,
Good
man.
job, bro.
Good job.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So much.
Rob.
Thank you.
Good running,
Get
man.
these sweaty pads off.
Exactly, yeah. Appreciate it.
Nice, thank you, man. Yeah, keep up the good work.
Yeah, we'll see you in the final.
Yeah, we'll be there.